see with a couple of newcomers this tournament, it is possible to get in here, as you just said, playing with some old friends together, and then suddenly you're in one of the biggest tournaments of the Clash of Clans history.
Yeah, and the first stage is doing exactly what people are doing right now. Watching the stream, keeping an eye on the pro scene, seeing the nuances of attacks. And here we go. We are into the first war, Itsu. It is Vanguard Gaming kicking us off with OP Builder.
Yeah, we see one of the most common strategies for the pros, which is Queen Charge Lalo. It's such a hard strategy to execute, but if you're good at it, it's really strong. And we see right now already the Tornado Trap rotating the blimp outside of the range of that Town Hall, and it's only getting close to it. And now we need to see, is this working? Is he raging? Is he trying to adapt? What is happening right now, Judo?
He's going to have to adapt. He had sneaky goblins in the battle blimp, meaning he did want it to the town hall, showing exactly what you said, Itsu, about defense being so important. The Royal Champion is able to target onto the town hall with the rage spell, but that is not where he wanted to use the Royal Champion, so already adaptation's taking place.
Yeah, but this is so cool about the pro level. Those guys are so good at adapting, and now we have those super minions in the clan castle, which are giving the team the queen a rough time to get through all of this. But luckily, the single Inferno Tower is still out of reach, and he can still place the king, which is now getting placed to push the queen into that single tower Inferno Tower compartment.
Ooh, he's got to be careful. He does use the freeze in time. I'm quite surprised. The name obviously suggests OP Builder. He is one of the builders for Vanguard Gaming, and he fell straight into the trap of the Tornado Trap by the Town Hall. He's got the Queen charging into the base, but with 2 Super War Breakers, I'm wondering if he can actually get them into the center of the base here. Oh, one of them goes to the north.
Yeah, one of them is going to the north. We always have to say,
no.
War Breakers tend to target walls from close compartments, but I feel like there was no building in this compartment, so kind of surprised by the wall breaker right there. But the queen now is once again in the next single Inferno Tower compartment, single Inferno Tower beam, so she needs to use the abilities soon. The warden ability is getting used early for the combination of the headhunters and taking care of this enemy Royal Champion. And now we have a lot of base left for not too much Lalo, I would say. Lalo is, yeah, having a rough time.
Yeah, the difficulty was the queen switched the walls, and the scatter shot in the center is just 1 tile away from the queen's radius, meaning it is still standing. Fortunately, it actually locked onto the healers rather than the balloons, but I fear for OP Builder here. All of the balloons go down, queen is taking damage. It is going to be a 2-star, and he's just trying to get any last percentage he can, Itsu.
That's right. So we had a couple of things right now which did not work as planned, but something which I feel like is always underestimated is whenever you're sitting at home, it is quite easy to attack, right? But with knowing that thousands of players are watching your attacks, it's a little bit of a difference in the pressure level. So I feel like first, especially the new team has to come into the tournament, try to adapt to the pressure and see if they can somehow manage with that, because the first attack for Vanguard Gaming was really good defense for Hanoi Royal.
Certainly showing the offensive and defensive importance. But you touched on an interesting point there, Itsu, because being the first attack of the war, of the tournament, there's so much pressure on OP Base Builder, and he did adapt very well to get the 2-star, because the last thing you need is to not get a 2-star. But we talked about the experience of Hanoi Royal. Now I'm interested to see if they can put the pressure on, get a 3-star themselves. Who is it that's going to be attacking?
It is going to be interesting to see, but I have to say Hanoi Royal is really experienced with their own strategies, I would say. I wouldn't be too surprised to see E-Dragons from them, because this is something which they like to run. So let's see. Okay, it's close, okay? Inferno Dragons are the new Electro Dragons of Clash of Clans, I would say, because Electro Dragons always depend on how stacked the core and the base overall is, because they're relying on those Electro Dragon chains. But Inferno Dragons, they're completely different. He is doing it right, using the warden ability really early to protect the Loons and the Inferno Dragons from the early shots of this Eagle, because the Eagle is about to go down.
Certainly is, and I notice a couple of ground expos here as well. Very wise to be choosing an air strategy. I do notice that a couple of buildings are left at the other side of the base, but this attack certainly is a fast one. We are closing in on the 50%. There it is. 50% gets you a star, the town hall gets you a second, and 100% is the third star. Itsu, we still have over 2 minutes here, and he's got a lot of Inferno Dragons left up.
Yeah, and one thing which might surprise most of you out there is the skeleton spells. Like, why would you bring a ground spell with an air army? Like, this makes no sense. Maybe, maybe not, because with this you can tank the most important defense, which is scatters enemy heroes, and you can see this perfectly executed by Jack right now. He has 1 minute and 45 seconds left in this attack, and this base is crushed, and I feel like, did he even lose one of his Inferno Dragons? This is looking so overpowering. Just a crazy, crazy attack.
Wow, that is exactly what Hanoi Royal really needed to do. Put the pressure on Vanguard Gaming. So many troops left over. He had the Queen's ability. Very comfortable attack. And that almost solidifies what we were mentioning about their experience. But Vanguard Gaming are a pro team themselves. I'll be interested here to how they respond to such a crushing attack like that.
Well, maybe they're going to use the Inferno Dragons on their own. It's a really strong strategy right now in the game. And since we just saw it the first time in this tournament, I would like to touch one more time onto the strategy, because for the most people, like I said, it sounds like kind of strange. Why would you bring ground skeleton or like the skeleton spell to an air army composition? And the reason is Inferno Dragons are kind of weak to splash damage. Scatter shot, the Eagle, for example, all those things are kind of annoying to face with those dragons. Or in addition, the enemy heroes, King, Queen, Royal Champion, they need to like beam up or like get their beam started. And all of this with the skeleton spells, they're giving them time. They're giving them time to kind of like roll over the base. This is exactly what we just saw. One of the strongest armies right now in the game. And if you're taking a look at the top Legend League, for example, you see this Surgy a ton. And it's really, really strong. It's kind of like I said, like the new Electro Dragon in the competitive play, because it's just so much more flexible on most of those bases. So I'm expecting to see this strategy a ton in this tournament. So let's see. Maybe, as you said, the right answer for Vanguard is going to be using the Inferno Dragons on their own. Maybe it's the right choice.
Yeah, I would think we see that attack quite a few times, and it does follow a very similar pattern. For me, it's more the skeleton spell usage that is the adaptions within the attack. And touching upon what you said, although you gain a lot of skeletons, they actually spawn very slowly. And that is an advantage for the splash, because whilst if all of them spawn together, the splash damage could just take them out. Because they slowly spawn, it offers you time for the Inferno Dragons to move through the base, and it is relatively a quick attack. We did just see that, and I feel that is another thing that is pretty similar to E-Drags. They're relatively fast in nature, so it is rare you see a time fail, and it does offer you the flexibility that even if a lot of your troops go down, you might still get it. And you pinpointed it exactly. It's Ramirez with the response, Inferno Dragons, but can he do it?
OP prediction. Okay, I have to be happy about that, but let's get started. And we have once again the Inferno Dragons and the Loons in the beginning. The Warden ability, as already said, you want to use that early. You want to get your Dragons, your Loons, everything as fast into the base as possible and block the first couple of shots of that Eagle. In addition to that, he can block the Scatter Shot, which is one of the key defenses for Town of 13 really early. And as you guys can see, Eagle is doing nothing, and Eagle is going to go down in a second. Now the skeletons to tank the Royal Champion, tank the Scatter, and this combination is just so strong. You can see the top left Inferno Tower. It has no chance against all of those skeletons with the King and Queen behind.
Notice the freeze spells continually hitting the air sweeper, which is obviously pushing the Inferno Dragons back. As the battle blimp moves through, the sweeper fortunately moves to one of the Inferno Dragons to the other side. The battle blimp does get to the town hall, and it does look relatively good here. We've still got the hero abilities and a skeleton spell. Ramirez, a player with bags of experience. He has played for over 7 years, now getting himself into the esports scene. This is the response that they needed. It looks fantastic here, Itsu.
Yeah, it's such a strong strategy. I already told you that, and we can see the Royal Champion still has her ability left. Queen still with her ability. This is looking like a crushing 3-star nothing, which has actually like a big impact on those heroes on this back, like a single Inferno Tower. All of this has been taken down early, and Requiris is getting it back for Vanguard Gaming. This is what they needed after the start, and now it's once again on Hanoi Royal to get the pressure back on them. We can talk a lot about like the pressure moments in this matchup, like in those matchups, like what is the best? Do you want to start early? Do you want to attack first, or do you want to attack second? Most of the time for the teams, I think the best thing which can happen to them is attacking second, because this gives you a couple of extra seconds to plan. But at the same time, if the enemy team from the get-go is going to start pressure on you, this could get into your head, especially in this such a short format. And maybe this is going to give advantage to Hanoi Royal if they can triple again, because Vanguard then has to react again. And, well, let's see.
Totally agree, because another advantage of attacking second is you can have a little bit more calculation of percentage as well, moving down to that final attack. But you're absolutely right. In the top scene like this, the psychological advantage is huge. Being able to smash a 3-star right out of the gates is super important. And although Vanguard are moving in the right direction, I think you're right that Hanoi Royal are still in the driving seat here. Having that first 3-star, they know that as long as they keep the pressure on Vanguard, they are in the lead, and they just need to keep that momentum moving forward. They've certainly got the experience to do so. Now, I want to see whether you get this prediction again, Itsu. Are we going to see another Inferno Dragon attack? I mean, we've seen two very convincing ones there. What do you think? Do they switch it up here, or do they try and use a similar attack, thinking that alternate attacks might be watching, and therefore they can flip the strategy for the next war? Is that something they might be considering?
I mean, I have faced Hanoi Royal back then with Tribe, and they perfected us twice. Okay, so this was not a fun experience. So it's really hard to play against them. And one thing which I learned about them, they tend to use their legend armies. So they're really good with those, and they're kind of like knowing everything about the strategy. So I would expect, yes, there might be another Inferno Dragon attack, but I would think the next attack is going to be either Queen Charge Hybrid or Sui Lalo. So let's see if that's... Oh, it was close, okay? It was close. I did say it's going to be at least one more Inferno Dragon attack. But yeah, let's take a look if it's once again as crushing as the first couple of attacks. We said it's one of the current strongest armies in the game, and this time we see he's not using the Warden ability right away, because the Town Hall is waiting, and the Town Hall explosion is dealing a ton of damage.
Absolutely, and for people watching at home, the attack does tend to follow a couple of key principles. An Electro Dragon to funnel on one side, the King and Queen on the other side, with that nice wide deployment of the Inferno Dragons and Balloons. A Stone Slammer is a good option if the Town Hall is early that you are going to hit it, but like you've seen in the last attack, if it's the opposite side of the base, that's where the Battle Blimp comes in Itsu.
That's right, and normally you're trying to save at least one skeleton spell for the last Inferno Tower. That's what he's doing right now as well. He has the Rage spell left, and you guys can see it, like, there's nearly no chance for the defenses to handle all of those different troops. And it's just like a wave, slowly overwhelming the base, and exactly this is happening. He has Royal Champ ability once again, Queen ability once again, and like I said, if you right now want to pick up a strong air composition, air strategy in Clash of Clans, it is the Inferno Dragons. It's all the way, and like, it's crazy. Timer. It's crazy.
1 minute and 15 seconds to 3-star in max level base. Wow. That is how quick that strategy is. And this might be starting to come into the mindset, because remember, we have stars, percentage, and time. And if you are fully confident that you can get the perfect war, and your team might, obviously we know that's not the case now for Vanguard, but if you can use an attack that is super quick, do you think that is something that the pro players are thinking about right now? Or should you just play it safe?
I think right now everyone has its own strategies. Like I said, Hanoi Royal, there are 2 to 3 Electro Dragon back then attackers, nowadays Inferno Dragon attackers, and like I said, I think we're going to see at least one Queen Charge hybrid of them just because they like the specific strategies. I feel like in the current meta, you can use basically any strategy if you can master this specific strategy. If it's Sui Lalo, Inferno Dragons, Queen Charge hybrid, Queen Charge Lalo, Sui Lalo, we're going to see a ton of crazy Lalo attacks. I'm pretty sure about that over the tournament from different teams. And I feel like every strategy works right now. I don't think every team is going to expect the perfect war, basically. So I don't think they're planning with that time. Maybe as soon as it's getting like to a 3-3 tie, like having 9 stars on both sides, maybe that's the moment where you think maybe we should switch their plan a little bit. But I think except that most of the teams do not plan on, okay, what is the quickest way to get a perfect war? I think for most of the teams, it's more like, let's get that perfect war, and then we can see and move on.
Yeah. Totally. So it's kind of towards the end of the war that you would be thinking that. And those are the attacks, picking up on what you said earlier, Ritsu, that you do have a little bit longer to plan those attacks. So maybe that is why we are seeing a couple of Inferno Dragon attacks to start the war, because it does allow the teams to have a little bit longer to plan those more intricate strategies. The hybrid, the Lalo, like you said, they often utilize the Queen Charge, and that can have many elements to it in terms of setting up the funnel, how you're going to send the queen in, when are you going to need to use the spells, and it does require a little bit more planning. So maybe that's why we are seeing these Inferno Dragon attacks closer to the start of the war.
That's true. That could be one of the reasons. I 100% agree. And I feel like it's such a nice thing to have someone going first always. So let's see if this pressure is gone away for Vanguard Gaming, because there are already 2 attacks in. So this is the 3rd attack with Peng, and he's going with the Super Witches, or what I would say the Witch Hybrid, because Super Witches have a really big problem. And this big problem is time. Time is always really like not their biggest friend, I would say. And one of the things on how you can work around that are those witches. Witches on the outside, so they're not getting sent into the base, they're just getting used on that outside and making sure that cleanup is going on right away. And now we have the witches getting started into that town hall.
Only 30 seconds before the witches were deployed. So exactly what you said, Itsu. It is an attack that is very reliant on times. Interestingly, Peng prefers the Zap Lalo attack. That is his favorite strategy. So like you said, if any strategy can work on the correct base, he obviously felt like mixing it up for this one, using the Super Witches, but I do notice that they're getting a little bit caught up on that Hound. He'd already used the Grand Warden's ability because the Grand Warden went down, so the Super Witches power through. Fortunately, though, they aren't really impacted from the Giga Bomb due to their hit points.
That's right. That's something which is so powerful about the Super Witches. On nearly every single strategy, you need to use this Warden ability for the Town Hall. And this is so powerful about the Super Witches that you do not need to use the Warden ability right then. You can use it whenever you want, because those Super Witches can survive that. Now we have the Super Witches getting slowly into that core. You can see the normal Witches on the outside. And now we're getting to the fun part about the strategy, where it's getting really messy, and it's all about the attacker keeping a cool head and making sure somehow this attack works.
Yeah, I was just about to say the Royal Champion had not been deployed, waiting patiently. There she comes from the southwest of the base. A very wise choice to clean up some of the defenses on that side. Whilst she might have been protected over a different side of the base, we have to be thinking about time. We are into the last minute, and notice that wizard over there as well, just cleaning up the buildings behind the Royal Champion. That is super important, and it's looking pretty good down to the end of the attack here, Itsu. 90% and climbing with 40 seconds remaining. Another 3-star this will be for Vanguard Gaming, and despite missing the 3-star initially, they are fighting back and keeping the pressure firmly on Hanoi Royal.
This attack was so important for Vanguard Gaming, I think. Without having a 3-star in this situation as a team, your mental is just going to be broken. Like, you feel like everything for the enemy team is working, nothing for your own team. So this 3-star was really, really important to make sure they can move into the last couple of attacks, because even though if Hanoi Royal is going to the 3-star, they're just 1 triple behind. So that's not too bad. So I think this triple was really nicely done, really good Super Witch attack. And we saw those witches on the outside working their way around and having, with the P.E.K.K.A together, finish off the base with the scatter on the back. And so just a great attack, you have to say that.
Yeah, it certainly was. We had the Super Witches almost just moving through the center. Then we had something either side to keep that momentum moving through and keep the Super Witches moving in the direction he wanted. Like you said, the Pecker and Witches on one side, and then a little bit later on, the Royal Champion and the Wizard on the other side. Just meant that he had 3 lanes of attack, and I really like how he broke down the base like that. And although time looked like it could have been an issue, I think starting the Super Witches as early as he did really paid off in the end of that attack.
Yeah, it was really nicely done, especially like from the core, the Super Witches were able to reach everything. So that was nicely planned. And as you said, normally he's going with Sui Lalo, like Lalo in general. So picking the strategy according to the base is something really important for some of those pro players. And especially if you think you might get baited. So let's take a look at the next attack from Hanoi Royal. And if you like Hanoi Royal today is just saying, let's get just everything in with those Inferno Dragons. They're right now, in our opinion, the strongest army out there. So let's just use them non-stop, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if it's working, why change it? And they are pushing into the base, but they do have a tornado trap catching them before the town hall. The Inferno Dragon's beauty, though, is they take that town hall down in a flash, and the Stone Slammer moving into the center of the base to take out that scatter shot is pretty important. A beautiful freeze catches the super minions, Archer Queen, and the multi-target Inferno. That is where the attack might look simplistic, but having the spells in the perfect position really pays off. And this looks, again, a very promising attack, Itsu.
That's right, Judo. We have the last splash damage building going down with that scatter. The Wizard Tower is not as scary as the Multi-Inferno Tower or the scatter to the Inferno Dragons. And we have once again that Queen ability still not used. So this was such a good attack once again. I feel like Hanoi Royal are just the masters of those Inferno Dragons. And maybe Vanguard Gaming did not count on them using so many Inferno Dragons, because I feel like so far it is the main weakness for those bases. So let's see if they just keep going with that, because I feel like so far Hanoi Royal is doing amazingly with those Inferno Dragons, because they're tripling every single base. But I feel like it is important to note that Vanguard Gaming, with their just like with their last triple, still in this match, still can come back. So this match is far from being over.
Oh, it is certainly heating up, because Vanguard are not going down without a fight. And I would argue being able to come back from a 2-star must give them a level of confidence as well. I know the favor is most definitely with Hanoi Royal right now, but that must give Vanguard Gaming a bit of confidence moving into the final 2 attacks, because they have found their groove. And they've been able to find that following an attack that wasn't a 3-star, which is often difficult to do. So it only requires one slip up from Hanoi Royal, and Vanguard Gaming could absolutely take this.
That's true. But as well, we have to talk about who's kind of like the favorite going into this, because we saw a ton of predictions out there from you guys on Twitter. For example, from Carbon Fin. So he did a prediction as well, and he said Hanoi Royal will go all the way, like not all the way into the winning spot,
to the
but
semis,
at least
I think
they're
going, right?
Yeah, something like that, because he predicted they're going to win the first round, and they're going to win against Alternate, which is a tough task to do. So he has a lot of faith into them. So we can see this right now with Hanoi Royal smashing every single base. Maybe let's see if at some point there are some bases out there which are built against the Inferno Dragons. Maybe some of those bases are left, and that's why they have not attacked them just yet with this strategy. So they have to switch up their attack strategy. But, I mean, it is really promising so far the start for Hanoi Royal. We have to say that as well, even though Vanguard for sure has the chance to come back.
Anybody's match, but I have to say what you said earlier, Itsu, Hanoi Royal, they do compete very highly in Legends League, and that requires you to be able to be flexible on a base. That is exactly what they are able to showcase to us with the Inferno Dragons. And almost picking up what I said as well, the Inferno Dragons, if they were to keep using them, it goes back to, can alternate attacks then predict them if they do get the victory? Because they haven't really shown much of their hand, if you will. They have literally used one strategy. Like you said, though, they need to get the safe 3 stars, finish this one off, because Vanguard Gaming are coming at them strong.
Yes, and we have that next attack, and this one is not going to be an Inferno Dragon attack. This one is going to be a Sui Lalo, and we see 5 invisibility spells, which tells me, in combination with this blimp, we're going to see a Super Wizard Blimp. What this means is he's trying to get those super wizards close to the town hall, opening up the blimp, making everything invisible, and those super wizards are going to wreck everything.
He is off to a good start here. Notice how he keeps the super wizards in the compartment behind the town hall. That is so critical because it means they are not vulnerable to the Giga Bomb. I really like that. A brilliant start. Even lures some of the clan castle there. Might not be exactly what he wanted, but let's see how he finishes this one off. Prince of Dubai, the captain of Vanguard Gaming, aiming to keep the pressure on here, Itsu.
That's right, and he's going to get into all of those multi-inferno towers, which means there is not too much damage for those heroes. Those heroes are kinda having a bad day against single inferno towers, but multis, that's no problem whatsoever. The ice golem is tanking over there as well, helping for the king to still stay a little more healthy, and the royal champion is not even deployed yet, so this is going to help the push even further into the base. The first wall break is hitting that wall, giving access to this enemy eagle, and this is looking really good so far.
It certainly does, because he takes out a multi-target Inferno, or he should in a moment, from the Queen. The Eagle as well, like you said, the Royal Champion now from the left-hand side is going to get another multi-target Inferno. But also look at the Air Sweepers. They are both pointing down to the south of the base, and there is nothing left. So the Lava Loon can swoop behind the Air Sweepers. However, the Eagle Artillery does still stand, Itsu, and so does the enemy Archer Queen.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if you got everything which you went for in this one. That's kind of always the risk in going with those Lalo attacks, because there are so many things that could go wrong. And now we have the minions, the loons, and the hounds are getting started. The headhunters need to be placed on this enemy queen, but this means there are no headhunters left to get the enemy royal champion. So the Lalo now is getting into that base. The queen is taken down. And now the royal champion, you can see it on the top right side of your screen. She's taking down every single loon. And we can see this. This is a really low percentage attack, and this might be already the decision. Really not happy to say this, but this is not looking like the attack we were wishing for Vanguard Gaming.
Oh, he just didn't get quite enough from the hero dive. I was saying it was a good thing to find the Tesla farm down there, because it meant he didn't have to deal with it with his Lalo. But was that the difference maker? That meant he didn't quite get into the Eagle, get the Archer Queen, a 76% 2-star. And that means they now trail, hypothetically, 2 stars from Hanoi Royal, if Hanoi Royal get the 3-star in the next attack. And from there, Itsu, like you just mentioned, surely it is home and dry for Hanoi Royal.
That's true, and especially we have to talk about like what is a default attack in like at this level, I would say, or like what is a fail attack, because for most of the clashes out there, if you're getting like a 90% 2-star attack, and we're talking about, oh, this guy had a horrible fail, for most of those people out there, it's like a super good attack. So talking about a fail in the competitive scene is like everything below 90%, I would say, because everything above is like, it could be worse, let's put it like this, but obviously the average of those pros is such a high percentage, which is crazy. So as soon as you're lower than 90%, this is really hard to come back from, because most of the time, even on a tie on stars, it is always a percentage lead for the other team. But let's take a look at the next attack from Hanoi Royal. As you said, this one is going to be important about for the last couple of attacks of this match, because if that triple is looking pretty damn good.
It certainly is, and I think it always comes down to the situation as well. And at this moment, Vanguard needed 3 stars. It doesn't matter what percentage were, because in this situation, Hanoi Royal are smashing in the 3 stars, and you were right with your prediction, Itsu. We now have the Queen Charge Hybrid Troc Paris, a very well-known player within the community, starting down to the left-hand side of the base with the Queen Charge directly in towards that scatter shot. And let's see how far he's going to aim the Queen in here. He does have another super wall breaker, which means he might be trying to get all the way to the center.
Yeah, but he needs to be careful with this air defense. The air defense is not that easy to reach for that queen in the town compartment, and the healers are kind of weak to air defenses, I would say, so this needs kind of a little bit luck for the queen to step right, but it feels like she's going to the top side. Now he's freezing at that perfect moment the single Inferno Tower, and now he's starting right away with this hybrid to push everything into that town hall. And this so far is looking pretty good. Perfectly handled the enemy clan castle with poison and freeze. This is exactly how you handle those super minion in the defending clan castle. Really nicely done.
Absolutely, and Troc Paris even was facing the enemy queen at that moment as well. So the coordination to start the deployment of his hybrid down to the 6 o'clock area of the base and yet keep his queen alive was absolutely brilliant. Hybrid moving all of the way through, but we do have 2 multi-target Inferno towers that are going to do a lot of damage. He still has 1 heal spell, no doubt for that back-end scatter shot after they get through the multi-target Infernos. And what a super wall break to the top area of the base, giving the queen access to the Eagle and the northern compartment. Hybrid moving through with the Royal Champion ability still. Can he do this one, Itsu, and keep the 3-star streak alive for Hanoi Royal?
This is looking so good. The scatter should go down any second now with the Royal Champion ability. He has over like nearly 1 minute left. So this is looking like a crushing next 3-star. Hanoi Royal is going into this match to win the entire thing. And this is what we can see right now. So the prediction of Carbon Thin was so far really, really nicely scouted because Hanoi Royal are on fire.
The Vietnamese team are showing you their power. And right now, for Vanguard Gaming to come back here, they would need a 3-star and they would have to hope for a fail, a 1-star and very low percentage from Hanoi Royal. So it's not looking too likely, but we have seen some class from them here. Like you said, it's very nerve-wracking going up first, being a new pro team to the scene. And this is the world's warm-up. So we definitely can see them come back into this year's esports scene with the World Championships, and I'm sure they will be studying this war very carefully, Itsu.
Yeah, you're right. And you already said this in the beginning. The experience in the first match, especially of a tournament like this, is really, really helpful. Not having the same pressure as a completely new team is helping out a ton, I feel like, because I think we saw a couple of the mistakes were done from Vanguard where the plans were really good, but it's always coming down to the hands. Are they shaking? Like, can you still handle them? And is your attack going as planned? All of those things are obviously like a huge deal in those attacks. And I think having the first attack in a tournament like this is obviously not helping with that. So the experience of Hanoi Royal was really, really important in this first match.
Yeah, and they are going to have to go away and learn how to deal with that. Like we said, it's not totally over for Vanguard, but it does just look very unlikely. However, we would say that the spell deployment of Hanoi Royal has been on point. And here we go, finishing off in style. That is how you do it, Itsu. It is the lightning spells, the so-called zap strategy into Lava Loon with 2 Ice Hounds as well. I'm looking forward to seeing this one.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm such a huge fan of those Ice Hounds. They're so strong and they're giving you so much more to the army composition, especially if there are any important buildings next to those air defenses, like the Town Hall or a multi-inferno tower, which we can see on this base. So really good choice, but let's see if it's going to be the same case as in the first attack, where the plan was really good looking, but the execution just did not work out. So far, he got everything he wanted to go for. He got both Inferno Towers on the left side with some nice combinations of Lightnings and the Royal Champion ability. And now it's all about pushing into that scatter, pushing into that enemy Royal Champion, and getting the Eagle on that backend as well, I think.
I really like the little touches here, just sending that minion into the left-hand side, knowing it's going to have a long time through the storages. That is... Oh, right as I say that, the scatter shot locks on. But anyways, little things like that really make the difference at this level. It's unfortunate the Queen is walking around here, though, Itsu. The King will get the Eagle. Oh, she goes back in. Oh, no, she doesn't. Oh, my word, how unfortunate. Let's find out if he can deal with this. A Tesla farm does pop to the left-hand side, but he does have the Ice Hounds moving through, and he should be able to get past that relatively quickly.
Take a look at this clan castle. There are so many archers in there, and he on purpose did not deploy the warden just yet. He wants to have all of those headhunters running into that poison, and now the warden ability to protect everything going into that town hall, and especially protecting his warden. A really nice lightning onto the enemy headhunters to make sure they're going down, but he missed just 1 headhunter, sadly.
Yeah, and he's now going to struggle in the center. The balloons are out of the Stone Slammer. A perfectly timed freeze will allow the balloons in towards that compartment. He still does have an Ice Hound. He needs it to pop and freeze the multi. Oh, perfect timing. Can the balloons take that down? He could still get this, Itsu. Oh my goodness, I think he might.
Yeah, I think he might get this with the Inferno Tower not having the most hit points and the loons approaching this last Inferno Tower. So this should be a 3-star if time is not an issue. We have the king at the top left side. And you might now wonder, like, Itsu, why is the king important? The king is one of the most annoying defenses to take down in this cleanup. And you can see the minions are just stuck on them. So this is 20 seconds left. 2 buildings left. Can he take this down to make sure that Vanguard Gaming is at least getting this 13 stars to keep the dream alive? And this is definitely looking like it. The last building is about to go down, and this is Pingu getting the 3-star in for Vanguard Gaming. So great attack, really nice execution on this Lalo, and a really good choice on those Ice Hounds. We can see this with the last multi-Inferno Tower getting frozen up, as I said, in the perfect timing. So that was really nicely done.
Certainly was, and I loved that Vanguard Gaming did get the 3 stars there. 13 stars is a fantastic achievement against a clan like Hanoi Royal, but now they just need to finish this one off. A 1-star high percentage would get them it, but the 2-star is arguably easier to get. I'm pretty sure we will see that, given they have done nothing but 3 stars, Itsu, but can they psychologically put the pressure on alternate attacks by finishing off with a perfect war? We're going to find out.
That's true, especially with some of the pros out there kind of predicting the finish of this match and predicting the performance of Hanoi Royal in the tournament. This would be a huge thing, going and finishing with the perfect war this first match and boosting the confidence going up against the world champion tomorrow. This is not an easy thing to do. So let's take a look at what strategy is going to be. It is going to be another Queen Charge hybrid attack from Hanoi Royal.
Well, he only needs the 1 star and 52% to get this one. So I would like to think Hanoi Royal are going to finish this one off, but they want the 3 star. They want to finish off strong, really put the world champions on edge. A beautiful queen charge in towards the eagle. Notice the town hall luring in that area as well, looming rather. Meanwhile, the queen is going to take a little bit of time before she moves further into the base, and he's just patiently waiting here. There she goes towards the town hall. Perfect start here for Russell.
This is so good that he's not taking care of this one builder hut, because this builder hut is going to lure over the queen to the top side, and then most likely she's going for this archer tower to go into the compartment. But instead, the king is closest, so she's going for the king. But going to the sweeper like this most of the time isn't the best decision, so I thought it would be a pretty nice touch not going for this builder hut. But it seems like either way, the queen now has a lot of damage on her. But the next wall break, take a look at this wall break, Judo. This is genius, opening up the entire base. Now the queen has access to both scatters. This wall break was just insane, Judo.
I cannot believe that the super wall breaker was that perfect. You can see the queen now has access to both scatter shots, even gets the tornado trap as well, which is pretty good, especially when using hog riders. We see the queen moving through the middle. She's not quite going for the scatter shot, but the royal champion is hybrid down to the bottom of the base. He does have all of the inferno towers, but his king, queen, and royal champion ability, alongside a bunch of other troops to adapt here, Itsu. Can he finish off strong and get the 3 stars and a perfect war for Hanoi Royal?
The Royal Champion is closing in on the last couple of defenses. The bomb tower at the bottom side, though, this is going to be kind of scary for those hogs and those miners, but this is looking so good. The queen ability still not used. Just a couple of defense on this back end. And Judo, I think, just in the first match we had on this tournament, we already see the perfect war for Hanoi Royal. And they are looking so strong with their Queen Charge hybrid, with their Inferno Dragons, and Russell from Hanoi Royal is getting it done. 40 seconds left, queen ability not used. This is a 3-star all day long.
GG is all we need to say right now. What a performance. Alternate attacks will have been watching this, and Hanoi Royal getting the perfect war, showing their diversity of attacks. What a performance. They move on to tomorrow's matchup fantastic war to start us off. Commiserations to Vanguard Gaming, new pro scene into this tournament, and I am excited to see what happens with them moving into the future, Itsu. But what a performance by Hanoi Royal!